Welcome to today's webinar, courtesy of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center in Louisville. Discover no-cost, valuable business services to help you thrive, whether starting your entrepreneurial journey or scaling your existing business. We have the resources and expertise to help you succeed. For more information, please visit our website or text 502-977-5800. Thank you for joining us today. Feel free to use the chat feature to ask questions or engage with our speaker. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to Toolkit Tuesday. I'm your host and I'm the director. I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director here at the Louisville Small Business Development Center. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend and comrade in arms here, Janet Flaw. Hey, Janet, how are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
We got a great guest with us today, but before I introduce him, a man who needs no introduction, but if you're joining us for the first time, Toolkit Tuesday is our weekly 1-hour webinar where we bring in experts just like ours today to talk about the topics that can help you in your business today. And just to make sure that you can see and hear us because we are so technological challenged, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you should see the toolbar. And if you don't, just hover over it. It should pop right up, and there you'll see the chat button. Just hit chat. It should pop up on you right there, and just type in your name and where you're joining from. Kind of does two things for me. It lets me know that you're out there because I can see the numbers kind of popping in. And also am very interested in where you're joining from. And I like to see old friends pop back in too. So, hey, Robert, he's in LaGrange, nearby, just up the street, up I-71. Hey, Rain, I owe you an email. Been thinking about you. I need to check in with you guys. Hope everything's going well. JC, our guest today from the Small Business Development Center. So I can see everyone else popping in. I know you're out there. Say hello. Hey, Jeff, how are you? I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a while. We need to get caught up. So yeah, but anyway, here in Louisville, our team focuses on helping entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their businesses. We work with everyone from first-time founders to businesses that have been around for years. Our local specialties, what we can help you with is access to capital, helping you find and prepare for loans and grants. We're great at putting together loan proposals, financial analysis, understand what the numbers are saying, and then, helping startups, just coaching your new business owners to think through their ideas and stuff. So we're here to help. Please reach out. That's what we're here for. And now I'd like to introduce our guest, JC, a man who needs no introduction. He's a national treasure here at the Kentucky Small Business Development Center program. He is our resident expert on all things e-commerce and marketing. And I can say that because JC is an expert because he does this too. He's an e-commerce specialist. He's been doing this for years. And, it's October, but it's always best to start early. And now is the time to really start ramping up your strategies and the things you want to do for the holiday season. Everyone looks forward to that. It could give you a good holiday boost, only if you do it right and don't wait till the last minute. So JC is here to help us with what he's going to do this year, kind of share us the love a little bit. JC, how are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is a big topic because this is the right time to prep up.
Sure is. We're in Q4.
Yeah.
And I think Q4 is the fastest quarter. I think when the holidays hit, seems like it's Halloween, it's automatically Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Yeah.
we're in the year. This time flies. And so the time was yesterday. And so we better
Right.
make it today, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and share my slides, Dave, if that's good with
Yeah.
you.
Let's do it. I'm handing you the keys. Let's get going.
Thank you much. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you. Dave, would you just verify you've seen the slides?
I see you're looking good. Very
Okay,
Yep.
very good. I have a double screen, so there's that technological savvy. One thing I really like about this topic today, you all, is that these things have traditional marketing roots. They can be taken in the traditional marketing route. They can also be applied on social media. And so, if you've ever been in a training with me before, I'm going to give you a burden of proof. We're going to talk about the concept itself. I'm going to give you strategy, and then I'm going to give you examples. That's what we do. And hopefully, the examples will allow you to at least think about the industry that you're in and how you might apply this. I always like to take just a second to tell you a little bit about the SBDC. I want to remind you we do serve all 120 counties here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and we're able to serve in their business coaching capacity and here in a training education capacity in a no-cost format for you. Thanks to a cooperative agreement from the SBA, air administration by the Martin Gatton Cafe at UK, and many other programs that make us possible. As Dave said, my name is JC Phelps. It's very nice to meet you. I've been here at the SBDC for 6 years now. Time flies. And I have been in state office now longer than I was in the field. And so I serve the SBDC as the training and education coordinator. So this is the holiday boost. How are you going to grow sales and your visibility this season? Okay. And it's a very important season, as you know. What you are going to get today, what I want to stress, I want to give you a revenue framework because Q4, if I were you, Q4 should have the word revenue when we tie it to business. Of course, there are other associations with the quarter, but we're talking about revenue here. We're going to think about your strategies of how you can maximize profit without necessarily discounting in a very deep, capacity. Some people think it's about quantity. It's not always that, and I'll show that to you. We're going to look at some visibility tactics to cut through noise. Noise is anything that takes away from your understanding of the or the client's understanding of your message. We're going to convert holiday customers to long-term clients. This is the number one mistake, and we'll chat about some examples. So, my burden of proof to you. My burden of proof to you is as such. Q4 spending increases across sectors, not just retail. We think Q4 is retail. Not true. I was talking to my family the other day and it's like, I'd like such and such done to my car, right? That's a service, not traditional retail. We think of things like that during Q4. And there's something about Q4 and the holidays. Marketing is a science and marketing is psychological. And so consumers are psychologically primed during this time to spend money, to give, to book in advance. We'll talk about that and invest in what is forthcoming. And that should, one word should ring from all four of those, and that's revenue, 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 right? Businesses have to be strategic. Some people think Q4 just comes, and it does, and it may be great. But if you're strategic, it's going to come harder for you. And lastly, holiday activities themselves, they're not about Q4 sales. That's not the only thing. They are about customer acquisition. And I can't stress that enough. So this should be a growth window for your business. Now, revenue. That's what we're thinking about this a lot. Holiday campaigns need to do one of the following things. However, in my opinion, it should address multiple, if not all. I would say three of three. Yes, there's immediate cash flow. Q4 is great for a year-end income. On the basis of your accounting system, whether you're cash or accrual, it may or may not count this year, but generally speaking, you may be cash accounting as the money comes in, it's revenue that will be on this year's books. And sometimes that looks like something in the future. It looks like gift cards, or it looks like just cash transactions. But your marketing should be about acquisition. We want to bring new people in, right? And we do that through events. We do it through bundling. We do it through many things of that nature. And when we bring people in and they stay, in marketing, we talk about, and in finance, we talk about lifetime value of a consumer. And so if these consumers become long-term clients of yours and they don't just see you in Q4, that's where the money is, right? And that's what we should always make our goal. This is absolutely tied to consumer behavior. as marketers, we have to think, how can I get their emotion, right? How can I create a sense of urgency? Your campaign should do this. And you can do this through many ways. New year is coming. That's Q1. Don't forget about that in Q4. Urgency, making a new you or a better you. Emotion, buying this for a loved one, framing it, with a grandmother or a child. You want to provide your child with the most lovely holiday. But what you have to do is you have to make it clear. We have so much noise in marketing and on social media these days that we have to eliminate friction, right? Decision fatigue, ad after ad after ad, make it strong and make it stand out. And when someone's thinking of buying, they're going to think of you. That's how consumers convert because they're bombarded. We all are in Q4. And if I could give you one piece of marketing advice, it's what I always give people. You have to remind yourself that we know a lot more about our consumers than we think we do because we too are consumers. And so ask yourself, if I received this as a consumer, how would I react to it, right? Um, but Dave actually mentioned this briefly. He was talking about the time is now, doing it now. In Q4, the businesses that can be clear and the businesses that enter the gate and cross the line the fastest, speed matters here because Christmas is coming. So, how do you create a converting offer in marketing? How do you create an offer? And by the way, you all, I will say, I will send these slides out to Janet at the end of the training. You may be frivolously writing, you're welcome to do that, but I'm happy to send these out to you or to Janet, and Janet will send out to you. But all of that to say, an offer has to have value or it's not going to cut through. Too much marketing right now. It has to solve a holiday issue. It has to solve a year-end need. It needs to have urgency. Something has for a limited time, limited quantity. The value expires, something like that, right? Get the psyche going. Successful offers have increased transactional value. Can you bundle? Can you tier? Can you tack something on? It has to have a retention hook, right? This shouldn't be something that you just need in Q4. What about Q1, right? How do I get them back in January? And again, discounting is really not the end all be all here. That's, I think, one of the greatest mistakes. Random discounts are random, as it says. Offer should be engineered for a long-term outcome. A one-time 20% coupon might be the one and only time you ever see that customer. So let's talk about offers themselves. There's something that I tend to think of as an architecture of an offer. And by industry, it's different. If you're in retail, maybe that's you. Maybe you're thinking about gift sets or bundling, and you have a good, a better, and a best tier, right? Someone's going to come in and they're going to think about the price point that they're at. You're going to know either with an offer or know what to offer them depending on their spending point, right? We want the people that are willing to pay best tier prices to select best tier. But we also want the good customers and the better customers that are in those tiers. One idea of offer is you can spend this now and you get something in January. We'll talk a little bit about them, but don't think about Q4 in a silo. January, as I'll mention, is a horrible month usually. Build yourself some leeway into January and generate revenue then, because December and January revenue is revenue for the business. Make something limited edition. This is urgency. It's only here for the holiday season. It's only, available until such and such date. That makes people buy. We all do it, right? If you're a service-based businesses, maybe it's a wellness, maybe it's a reset package, maybe it's a membership. Maybe you offer the membership something additional in January to upgrade them. You don't include everything in there. They love what you do, and they say, well, in January, you can do X, right? We're building that value across quarters. Maybe you look at corporate gifting. If you haven't built corporate relationships, I highly recommend. Those are great revenue drivers. Maybe you're in hospitality. Maybe it's a book now, stay later. Now that takes your occupation later. but you're getting potentially that money or a portion of that money now. That's revenue now. Okay. Holiday events, private experiences. These things matter. Partner bundles with, people across industries. Get some of their customers paired with yours and vice versa. These are all good things. I'm thinking about Derby. I would love if I opened a present and said, my Christmas present to you this year's your Derby box. That would tickle me pink, right? So how do you do a book now, stay later type of thing in hospitality? Experiences, that's what I think of there. And then maybe you're B2B. Maybe you offer something like an end of year planning session. Maybe you're a consultant, an end of year offer of sorts. Maybe it's reduced price as a bait, right? Bait and hook. Maybe it's complimentary. You give them a few minutes of your time. You then offer something to elevate them in their business in 2026. What accelerates their business? And maybe you offer something like a bonus or an added extra if they sign on before year's end, right? This is how we get customers now that will pay us in an ongoing capacity. And so when you think about your marketing, when you think about your visibility, what I want you to think about is, I'm a math person, don't hate me, but there's somewhat of a formula. Your visibility in the marketplace is your frequency. And to that, we add your relevancy because you have to be relevant too. If you're posting just to post, no value, please don't, right? Your relevance could become negative, and that would take down your visibility. And your differentiation. If you're one and the same, again, Q4 is so noisy. What are we going to do, right? What's the point of the Q4 advertising? Because you're not going to convert, and so likely it will just be a negative cash flow for you. And so, what you have to do, this is individual to you. If you're sitting there today and you ask yourself, okay, I want to maximize Q4. I want to have marketing campaigns in Q4 that will drive revenues to me. The mistake that people make is that they think about what other people do. They think about what you would like to do. Q4 is not the best time for experimentation. Experiment in Q1, Q2, get your data and implement that in Q4. You need to look for the low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. Look at what has a high ROI. What is it in your business that is producing? What is a consistent driver for you? Maybe people find you through Google. Maybe you have data or people to say, oh, I found you online, right? Make sure that profile has your offers on it and makes it clear. Maybe you're successful in email. This is not the time to build, it is the time to get people's information, but it's not the time to put all your eggs in a basket on doing holiday sales through email if you've never done email marketing before. This is the time to build it. Sure, get the names and the email addresses, but maybe email's important for you. Focus on it. Maybe your money, maybe your power is in um, having some sort of social proof or client stories. Maybe you need to amp that up. Social proof can come on social media. If you convert on Instagram the most, this strategy should be Instagram focused. Facebook should be Facebook focused. TikTok, it should be TikTok focused. And that's not to say that you can't use the others, but you have to be strategic here. The number one mistake I see companies make is they think this is go time. I've got to do all the things. And they're expecting conversion on something that they've never planted, right? It's cold outside. Things aren't going to grow now like they did. You have to plant the seed in the warmer months to reap it in the holiday. And so I say that very future looking to you now. You have to play the cards you've dealt yourself for this year, and you got to do it well. Think about next year. Q4 is not in a silo. Q1's coming. Q3 is coming next year, and before we know it, it'll be Q4 again. And so consider these things. These are the times that you make action plans, but you don't necessarily reinvent the wheel. Maybe partnerships work for you, right? That's up to you. And so we ask ourselves at the end of the day, what's going to drive my conversion? Okay. When I think of marketing campaigns, and I am a pretty critical marketer, I teach high level marketing. I was marketing focus coach here for a long time at the SBDC. Marketing's my love language. But the thing about marketing is this: a lot of people have told me over the years, I'm not very good at marketing, right? They're scared of it. You shouldn't be. Marketing takes creativity, but it also is formulaic. It really, really is. And so if you think about a marketing campaign, what makes it work? I would first ask you to remember you are a consumer. We have all bought things in Q4 that maybe we didn't need, right? Or we spend more because we're buying presents for all of our family members. What was it that made you buy it? That's step one. You have all this market research right here. I tend to be um, one that acts on urgency. And so if I feel like something is limited or it's going to become more expensive in the future or it will hit the resale market, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to buy it now because I want it, but I want to acquire it at the lowest market price available. Okay. That is an urgency. You have a deadline. You have a limited quantity. These things work. Maybe it's simplicity and always should be. I've always said this in marketing. It's one of the things I used to always tell my clients, and I say it with love, but the people that receive messages, the people we're marketing to, our targets, they're lazy. Social media has made us lazy. And if you're making your client play the guessing game, whether it be inside of your store, maybe it's online, we have an issue. We have to make it simple. Clear package, clear product. They know what they're getting. Clear price. The price is the price. They know how to order it. They know what the next steps are. You make it clear that the next steps, maybe keep going in Q1. People like social proof. Don't tell me that this is the greatest thing ever if you can't prove it to me, right? Unless you're new to market, but that's a whole different story. And so if you're B2B, talk about some results that some of your clients have received. If you're in retail, maybe you work with someone who's going to make content within your store and share their experience of that store. If you're in hospitality, you're certainly probably going to have a lot of review-based opportunity marketing. So many options here. We have to prove ourselves. And the reason why, someone else is doing it while we wait, right? We got to get in the boat with them. Every conversion, though, should have somewhat of a retention strategy. Now hear me out. That doesn't mean you have to say, beg and plead, please come back next month. That's not what I mean. A retention strategy can be quality, excuse me. Something can be so good that, yeah, you need it in December and you need it just as bad in January. That's part of it. That said, we have to think about how we can retain. And you have to think about how competitive your marketplace is. Because we want January engagement too. We want October, November, December, and I want to see you with your holiday money or with your January salary the following month. The thing that people do wrong in marketing and in business is that they have this idea that people come back later, right? Oh, they'll come back later. That's lost revenue. As marketers, we have the power to, I don't want to say make them, but nearly make them, greatly incentivize them to come back later, right? How important is that? Marketing is kind of a, there is a level of control that comes with it, which is maybe the ethical side of marketing, but it's important. So let's think about retention. Retention into Q1. If you're looking at a holiday strategy to boost your revenue, I'm going to tell you step one, and the most important step, don't think it ends December 31st. It's a mistake. You need to be thinking about January and February. You need to be thinking about March, right? What is my retention? January is a horrible month for many businesses. And so build it in. Build in strategy that's going to give you customer acquisition, it's going to give you revenue in Q1. That's critical. Unless you plan to close your business on December 31st, this should be very top of mind. Somehow, some way, your holiday campaign that you're running in Q4 should lead somehow into Q1. Maybe it doesn't have a direct path, but you force a path. You create the campaign that leads off of it, gets those Q4 customers back into the mix. Maybe it's a buy now and redeem it in January with a blah blah blah. Maybe you pre-book next year's service at 2025 pricing. This one would get me, right? You're saying prices may go up, book now. I'm booking immediately. And I'm going to ask if I can book multiple if it's something I love because I want to pay the lower price. Maybe if you redeem a gift certificate, something occurs in the new year, right? Maybe something is associated with gift card purchases. Who knows? But these are offers that have a now and later, a now and later. That's Q1. So here's what I want you to do. If I were your marketing consultant, if I were working with you day in, day out, I would say, I'm going to use Janet because I'm looking at her smiling face in her photo here. Janet, where do we get our revenue? Where's my low-hanging fruit? Step in strategy number one, identification. And if you don't know that, again, now we're finding problems that you need to leverage and find the answer to now so we don't have this problem again next year. Step two, I've identified my revenue lever, where I'm going to put it per se, or what is it? Is it a type of good? Maybe said better. Do I make most of my revenue from blank? Is this my highest margin good that sells really well? Build an offer around that. How are you going to push that more? That doesn't mean that you have to discount 30% your best-selling good. It was best-selling at the original price. But build something around it. Something that sends you to Q1, something that has an add-on or a bonus, whatever it may be. Step three, we ask ourselves, where do we get our momentum? Is it in store? Is it on Instagram? Is it on TikTok? Is it on Facebook? Select a few of them. Select your best. Yes, you can cross post, you can do that, but don't spread yourself thin. That's why people stop posting. But again, it's just like step one. What's your low-hanging fruit? I think about my own social media career. If I look at my social media profiles, I have roughly 100,000 followers between each. That's great. I'm going to look at that, certainly. But my best platform is my website. That's my moneymaker, always has been. And so, am I going to convert better on social media or on my website? For me, for JC, website all day long. That may not be true for you. And so, I'm not saying focus on website marketing, right? We have to have cognizance of where it comes from. Once you've identified, this is what makes me my revenue, this is my offer, I'm building around it. This is how people are going to see it and where. You launch. You launch with urgency that this is a holiday offer and you better get in while the giving is good. You've got to be clear. They've got to know what they're getting. People spend money in Q4 very intentionally, right? I don't want to spend $300 on a gift for my grandmother if I'm not certain it's the gift for her to be pleased, right? We have clarity. Clarity, how would a family perceive it? How would you perceive it? in this very emotionally packed time. And step 5, think about, how do I get them back in January? How do I get them back on the site? Maybe it's you use your email list and you send offers via email, sending them to the site with a coupon code in January with a slight discount. Maybe it's an offer that has something built in that will have them come back. Maybe it's a form of quote unquote pre-sale at 2025 prices. Maybe it's offering a gift card discount with purchase. They spend $100 with you, they could, buy a gift card. Maybe they get a gift card and the gift card can't be redeemed to January. Think about what a genius retail idea that is. Every $100 purchase, you get a $5 or $10 gift card available for use January 1st on. It will get them back in the door on January 1st. It also incentivizes them to buy now. You're like, well, if I buy this right now, I'm going to get $10 later. And when they come back to spend their $10, maybe they'll spend another 100, right? It's all about the lead in to Q1. And so don't be complex. Don't overthink this. You know what works for your business. You know what has driven your revenue. Just do it and be consistent. Big ideas don't always win. That's a marketing mistake, in my opinion. Just got to execute it. So, before we get into some examples, what are some takeaways? Customers will not find you just organically. Yes, they will, but it's not going to be enough to get you to the revenue level you want. I said people in marketing are lazy, like your message, people on social media, they want their information readily available to them. Same thing goes for us. Sometimes I think we as business owners can get a little bit passive and we can say, well, it's on social media, they're going to come, right? Not true. We're competing in a very competitive marketplace right now. And so you have to engineer your own visibility. Step 2, or takeaway 2, don't leave them guessing. Your offers have purpose. Revenue now, revenue later. That's how you build revenue. You make it not one time. You build the customer value of the customers you have right now. Customer value could be they spend $1,000 with me a year. They're going to be a client for 30 years, $30,000. But also, how do I create value out of clients that are currently at zero? That's acquisition. Long-term value is holiday success. Long-term value is holiday value. Singularity should not be the goal. I'd rather someone buy something once than never. But I'd sure rather someone buy 5 times than once, right? That should be the focus, and that's where people go wrong. And so keep this momentum. Let's look at some examples. If you're in retail, maybe you're a retail store in Bowling Green. Maybe you have a box of a style, a boutique, something that's put together. Maybe you're buying for someone that doesn't necessarily know how to pick something out. Maybe you have a VIP night for your people that you have an email list for, that they can come in and do their holiday shopping with the store closed, just you. They get a small discount or something extra, a gift with purchase. How nice, right? Maybe you wrap the presents. I don't know. Get the people in. Get people in that have already spent money with you, because we want them in Q1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe I curate something that has a limited time offer. Okay. The VIP holiday first look. I had a client way back in the day that's something very similar. It was grossly successful. People love exclusivity. That's a great marketing angle. It's invite only. It's just a revenue generating hour or two for you, is all it is. And so maybe you spend 150 night, kind of like my statement I just made. You get a $20 gift card that can be spent starting January 1st. Even though people are tighter in January because they've spent so much money on Christmas, that's why one reason Q1's not as good. Weather is also a part of it, right? Some people also are spending in January because they get Christmas money. And it's something you got to think about. Maybe you're a service-based business. Maybe you're a wellness studio in Lexington. Frame it. We know what's coming. We know winter is coming more in force. We know that Q1's coming. We know that people have aspiration in Q1. So maybe it's a reset package, new year, new you type marketing. 3 sessions, you can relax and recover, jumpstart your goals you have in the new year. It's a perfect gift for someone who needs a break or a fresh start. I always like receiving like spa treatments, massages for Christmas because I work hard. I work a lot of hours every day, and that's a good present for me. It's something that people know they can buy. Build that in, right? Build that in. You don't have to be retail to make high revenues in Q4 and Q1. Maybe you then think about the next step. Again, I'm telling you, be strategic. You offer an upgrade, right? Maybe it's a gift certificate person. Someone comes in, they're going to say, "Oh, I got this for Christmas." Ask yourself before that starts happening, how can I convert them into a member? How can I convert them to have more lifetime value? What can you offer them in addition? Maybe it's something as casual. They come in and you say, I appreciate you coming in so much. Here's a blah, blah, blah off your next service. Get them coming back, right? It's not just about the gift card. You've already received the good part about gift card revenue is that you receive it when you sell it. And cash basis, it's right now. The bad part is they're going to come back in and redeem it at some point, and you're going to offer the service or whatever it is, pay for the food, and no more revenue is going to come in necessarily unless you upsell them. Okay. Maybe you're a food and beverage place. Maybe you package something for Christmas morning or for family get togethers, right? Something that's delicious that I'm going to want Q1 through 4. Maybe you curate a box or a gift that someone can buy and it has a QR code or it has an offer that is January focus. Buy one holiday box, give them a coupon to come get something at that bakery, right? Buy one gift card, get one 20% off, yada, yada, things like that. Add something extra. Hook them into needing you once they finish what they have bought. That's the thing about food and beverage. It expires, right? Or it is consumed. Make them come back. The retention in food and beverage should be grossly high because they will continue to consume. Maybe you are in hospitality. You own a bed and breakfast in Bardstown. Maybe it's a book now, stay later offer. Tie it with Kentucky bourbon tastings. Talk about, what's upcoming in Bardstown. Market it as the gift you can buy for the person, you don't know what to buy for, or for the person that has everything. Gift them the experience of bourbon country. It's something you're going to have later. Maybe you have a bed and breakfast. Maybe you have a hospitality thing, and January is abysmal for you. Offer something else if they book in January. If they book a tour, if they come to you, if they stay, incentivize them. Or tag that onto a purchase made in Q4 so we can build in and kind of materialize our Q1 demand. That's a good hospitality offer, right? Hospitality needs to happen in slow months. We still got to have revenue. Maybe your home service. You don't think about this being, the most elusive marketing. Maybe you have a heating and cooling company down in Lake Cumberland, where I'm from. Holiday peace of mind. Maybe you can sell a prepaid annual maintenance package. I would love that, right? Knowing I'm not going to have to pay for my servicing next year. Maybe you can partner with a realtor or people that are looking for new homes coming up in Q1 or maybe even, in spring towards the end of Q1, start of Q2. Use that pricing hook. Book your services now for next year at 2025 prices. We all understand that prices get more expensive, right? It's a great hook. Book now, save yourself stress later. Maybe you offer if they book something by December 31st, when, usually we're thinking about our AC going out. Yes, or we want our heat to work as well. I'd rather my heat not work than my AC personally, but maybe you offer something like a free just health check on the unit in spring, or maybe it's a tune up or I don't know what it is with purchase, knowing they're going to come back, right? And then if you're in this business, you should be thinking about, well, Q2 and the start of Q3, really hot. That's when it's really important. How do you get those pre-customers towards the end of Q1? That's what's important. Maybe you're B2B. Maybe you're a marketing consultant. Maybe you offer something, to finish someone's budget. Business budgets largely are going to expire at December 31. So, maybe they need to spend that and you need to capitalize that. Maybe you need to offer something like a strategy session in Q4 or something like a 6-month support system or offer that starts in January. Get the booking now, get them in, show your value, provide that B2B service, and then build an offer that's going to extend them into 2026. Maybe they enroll now and they get something for free, or they enroll now and they get something for free that's going to help them when you continue the service in Q1. It's an implementation toolkit. It's a social media strategy plan. It's a budget template. It's a, who knows what. Offer them something. People love freebies. That's another thing that really gets me. If I think about my own consumer psyche, if you give me something free, I want it. Last but not least, this is what I want you to understand. I want you to understand that the things that I'm telling you are not theories. I have anonymized these. These are very successful offers of people that I know, that I either know and or have worked with, that very much worked. Small business, just like you. I can't cover every industry, right? It's infinite what we can do. But these things have worked. You have to customize it to your market. You have to customize it to your brand and to your consumer. I'll talk a little bit more about that. I don't care what industry you're in right now. Don't care. Any industry. You can benefit from this. We all benefit from Q4. Many of us struggle in Q1. What do you do? B2B is really brutal in Q1. You're trying to save that budget through December of the next year. All of that to say, the campaign is engineered. Marketing is engineered. Good marketing is planned. I want revenue now and momentum and revenue later. So choose your lever. What's going to make you the money? Design the offer around it. Launch it on the place or in the places that do the best for you. Launch it with urgency. They gotta get it, and they gotta get it right now. And get them back in the door on the website January 1st. That is a holiday offer. The last thing I want to say, I want to stress this, and then I'll open the floor for questions. If you have questions, feel free to start putting them in the chat. I would love to chat with you about anything. I made this statement. We tend to know more about marketing than we give ourselves credit for. That's true, right? Why? Again, we're consumers. We're consumers. But this is what I want you to think marketing as. Every single day of your business is marketing data. Your social media interactions, when people walk in the store, people look at Q4 sometimes dumbfounded and they say, this is such an important time. I'm just frozen. What do I do? You know what to do. No one knows your business better than you. You know who your customers are. You know why people come back to see you over and over again. You know why people choose you over your competitor. You know what your best offering is. You know what your strengths are, and you know what your weaknesses are. You know. And if I'm your customer and you say, oh, well, JC, he comes, once a month to get blah, blah, blah. There are probably a lot of other JCs out. You have already hit the money. You just need to duplicate and then duplicate again. So this should not be original thought for you. You need to first come to the table, get your legal pad, and ask myself, why is my business still open? What has kept me open? Revenue from blank, customer blank. How do you engineer an offer to give you more of those customers? We all want more customers. But there's a quality ranking to customers, and we want good ones. Okay? We want good ones. I hope that makes sense. There's a lot of strategy to it. Do not ignore social media. But again, you know your business. If you're a brick and mortar person and that's where you thrive, start building your social media now with increased foot traffic. But trust your gut. Never listen to someone that says something is one size fits all. What I do on my website might be different than what you'll do, right? And that's cool. Strategy is strategy, but we customize to the client. And I want you to remember that. I'm seeing the chat go, which is good. So I'm going to stop my share. And if you were to hear one sentence from this presentation, revenue growth in Q4 comes in Q1. I strongly believe that. It comes in Q4 and Q1 and Q2 and Q3. How do you not have the customer one time? Haminada said holiday marketing for a um,
She's,
costume design. Is that what you think, or a designer?
it's, yeah, she's a dress designer,
A dress
custom clothes.
designer.
Yeah,
And you're in Louisville. My
she
gosh,
is.
custom derby dress. Like, think about
Hmm.
the things that are coming up. Like, if you think about your customers, though, for example, the question would be, who typically books with you? Who do you design for? Do you book more for derby, for private events? Maybe it's a quinceañera, whatever it may be. You know who the customer is. And so, what you need to do is build urgency. You're a designer and you only have so much time. You only have so many spots left for 2026. Build that urgency that they need to get on the list right now. You
Hmm.
style at Derby and Aminata Original, get on the list and book it for Christmas, right?
Hmm.
You can book now. Maybe there's a down payment that you require. That's Q4 revenue. And then they're going to pay more when they pick it up. That's, 26 revenue. Maybe they pay all up front. I'm not sure your strategy there. But if I were a designer, I would think about what is upcoming and I would mark it always on urgency.
Hmm.
You only have so much time.
JC, let me ask you this. So, in that example, I mean, there's kind of two kind of customers, like there's your existing customers and there's new customers. Do you start with what you have, your existing customers first and try to get them on board and upsell them and then work on bringing in new customers, or what would be your strategy with that?
Absolutely. And I truly think you can do both at the same time. If you're putting out your messaging, whether it be social media or whatever, through your most successful medium, hopefully your social media is on an upward growth trajectory, right? And you're going to have a lead generation into future. But that's a mistake a lot of people make. They only look at future customers and they forget those that are your bread and butter right now.
Right.
Or they think, I have my bread and my butter. Well, bread and butter and prosciutto is better, right? Got to get the prosciutto. And so, what about what's next? And so, I think you start with the base. These are the people that know and love you. Offer them something great. Guess what? You may have word of mouth marketing. People are talking about shopping or talking about what they did in holiday. Well, did you know at JC's blah, 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 right? I did this. They may be your acquisition funnel. People that love you are your best salespeople because
Hmm.
business messages are caught in noise. And so you should always cater to those that come first. No question, in my view. I guess it's
Yeah.
an opinion. I'm saying there's no question, but in my opinion, there's no question.
Um, on that note, talk a little bit about like how, how to build like a list and what to do with it, with your existing customers or the new ones when they come in. How do you what kind of system do you use to do that?
Absolutely. So first you have to ask yourself, what if you're looking at your current system or you're looking at future systems, where will your revenue generation come from? So for example, if you're going to do e-commerce,
Mhm.
Q4, feel free to launch, start building the base. But if you think I'm going to go into e-commerce this holiday, you're talking about 2026. You're not talking about 2025. You can start it right now, but it's not going to have the momentum you want it to be, want it to have. So ask yourself, what will be my funnel? If it's the website, yes, it's an email list, right? Maybe you can build into your automatic point of sale something that captures customer information. You can export that and do a mass upload. Um, anytime that you can gather consumer information, you do. What I don't want you to focus on, I mean, if this is what you do, it's what you do. But there are technological ways to do that exportation and make it fast instead of having someone sign something and then you have to manually enter. It's overwhelming. We all have limited time and scarce resources, and so there's no reason to do so. And so, as you have an increased audience in Q4, you have to think about availability of information. And that's either through your email service provider. Um, it's through, sending them with something in hand. If you're a brick and mortar foot traffic kind of place and you're not a e-commerce type business, that's cool, right? Not every industry needs to be. But that's how you collect the information. You have to ask, where am I going to send the message out to, right? And when you're making
Mhm.
that sale, how can you build that information gatherer into it? That's critical. And make sure you
Yeah.
have, assent and the approval that you can send them, opt in or, something like that.
Mhm. You mentioned starting Q4 for 2026. I mean, what would be the first step, especially if in a newer business just getting started? Where would you tell them to start?
I would tell them this is my view in marketing, and this is dangerous. I'm not a risk loving person. I'm risk averse in life, in most things. But if you're thinking about your marketing or you're thinking about your business growth in 26 and it's 25, you do not know until you do. And so you cannot make decisions if you have no data to base your decision on. And so if this is your first holiday season, for example, or it's the first time you're hitting holiday hard, what I would do is you need to try some things and you need to do things that you can associate data with, revenue numbers, social media impressions, whatever it may be, and ask yourself what's worked, right? Continue that into Q1, continue that into Q2. And once we start strategizing for Q4 come next year, you're going to have, some data for a burden of proof saying this is what I need to do. And this is what worked for me last year. And so you don't need to be too risky in that you're outlaying a dangerous amount of financial capital. That's not what I mean. But businesses experiment too, just like we do as humans. And it's okay to fail. You know not to do it again. That's why you do things on smaller scale to the beginning, pivot and
Mhm.
do something else. And so if you're wondering where to start, don't think you have the answer right now because you haven't tried things yet. And so try a few things and see what sticks. Throw the spaghetti
Yeah.
on the wall and which noodle's still on the wall, right?
Yeah. Everything's an experiment. That's the way I like to think about it.
Absolutely. And we got to have data.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a personal question, JC. So, like what we're really talking about is like inbound, we're trying to generate some attention so people will come and talk to us. In your business, do you ever do any outbound sales where you personally contact a prospect?
No. But this is what I'll tell you. You asked me that in current tense, in present tense, right?
Okay. Okay.
In past tense, did I 100%? When I didn't have the demand that I now have, 100% I did, especially, if you're B2B. And if you think about outbound marketing, you could say social media is sending it out to future. So in that case, sure. But
Mhm.
I used to directly, absolutely reach out to those that I thought, you just don't know me yet, but I'm the person for you. And there came a time where I no longer had to do that. But I would encourage you, if this is you or the positioning that you're in, sometimes that can be awkward. And sometimes
Yeah.
we think things are going to just naturally come. They don't. The
Right.
marketplace is competitive. You have to let someone know what they're missing out on. And then once you prove your worth and your value, they'll say, I can't live without this guy. Right?
Yeah.
Davo, like I've got to have Davo in my life every week, every Tuesday, a Toolkit
I hear
Tuesday.
that every day,
You come back,
every day.
right? I know you did. And so do I now? No. Have I in the past? Without question.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In the
Yeah.
beginning, you're going to do anything, my view.
Yeah.
I,
That's
I would
right.
have, if I could have talked to someone sweeping the street and made a sell in the beginning, I would have swept the street and hoped for the conversation. In
Yeah.
business, sometimes you have to get gritty, and I
Mhm.
respect that.
Yeah. There's a great book written by Noah Kagan, and his whole thing is that you have to ask for what you want. You have to ask your customers for the sale basically, and it's hard because that's not something we do on a regular basis. He says it's a muscle. You have to practice your muscle and your asking muscle.
There's a
So it's good.
vulnerability to it for sure.
Yeah, because you're going to get shot down more than you think. So.
And the money is, again, remember, we are consumers.
Mhm.
So ask yourself if you were on the receiving end of that pitch, or if you're on the receiving end of that marketing campaign, how would you react to
Yeah,
it? If you're
that's a
saying,
great. That's
this
great.
guy JC, he's being so aggressive, it's blah, blah, blah. No one likes that. We all shut down. We know that.
Yeah.
No one likes telemarketers, right? We know that. And if you're a telemarketer, I deeply apologize. I like you, I just don't like the rest. But ask yourself, how would you react? And build your offer around that because we're consumers, we're humans, and somehow, some way, you wouldn't be in this business if you didn't have some sort of interest, association, proclivity for it, something like that. You have much in common with your customer. All of that to say.
Exactly.
If you're a
Exactly.
foodie like me and you want to go eat at a good restaurant, you may be trying to sell your restaurant offer to me. You're in the business because you're a chef, you enjoy cooking. I may be a customer because I like to eat. We have a lot in common. And so you know what's going to hit with me because if you're a foodie, you're also going to dine elsewhere. What made you walk
Right.
in the door, right? Or what would you think
Exactly.
of that offer? Would it make you act or would you scroll? If you scroll, don't waste your time.
JC, has been fantastic. It's been so much fun. I really appreciate it.
Always fun. It's always fun on Toolkit Tuesday.
It is.
My
It is.
friends in mobile land. I wore
You
this
are.
just
All right. Well, thanks, folks. This wraps up another Toolkit Tuesday, but thanks to JC. Thanks again for joining us. Janet, thanks for driving the ship as always.
Sure
And
thing.
Janet put a couple of links in the chat for you. If you need to talk to one of us here at the SBDC, please reach out to us. We're here to help, if you found this helpful, I hope you did. Remember, there's a lot of resources. Reach out. We're here to help. So if you need to reach out, check us out at KentuckySBDC.com. And I hope to see you guys on our next Toolkit Tuesday. JC, thank you.
most
And
welcome. My pleasure.
I will see you around SBDC world. So see everyone next week on another Toolkit Tuesday.
Have a good one. Bye bye.